Hello, my name's Teemah, aka the Master Archives. I'm joined with Gucci_Dutch, and we're talking Pokemon economics right now. From our GTA stream we just did, you can see we're doing the GTA Online Drug Wars. We've been going on for at least like 40 minutes now about Pokemon economics, and I'm actually hoping Twitch you can help me out here to try to figure out a lot of questions that we're having now the more we get into it. So let's kind of just retrace our steps here. So Pokemon, right? Um we're talking about like who funds everything, right? So Gucci believes that it's the oh, it's playing our theme song actually right now. There you go. So Gucci believes that pretty much everything is government funded. I'm on the opposite end. I feel like um at least we're starting Pokemon centers because the usual, it started with Gucci's conspiracy theory that with the Pokemon centers, when you leave, they're like, oh, see you again soon. It's the age old theory of like they're weakening your Pokemon, things like that. I don't believe that. I just think it's a polite thing to say. And he believes that maybe they get funding based off how much they have to heal Pokemon. Yet again, I personally, sorry Gucci, believe it's far fetched. Um, but that's where we kind of started to get into this. I believe since all the Nurse Joys are related, and I'm gonna Google this right now to see how they're related. If they're cousins, I think that my theory works on it. Nurse Joy's relations to other Nurse Joys. Okay. Local Nurse Joy fulfills. How are all the Nurse Joys related? Joy is their family name, not actually their first name. What? Okay,
Huh.
we're actually getting into this now. How are they related? And this is why I'm opening this up to Twitch because I really need some assistance on a lot of these questions. Okay, so let's go to I'm on Bulbapedia. We're going to biography. Is Nurse Joy is placed inside every Pokemon Center in town and every game. She's always by the counter. We hope to see you again soon. Um, okay, the phrase has gained a lot of jokes to it due to the fact Nurse Joy says we hope to see you again soon. Make it sound like she wants your Pokemon to get injured again. Let's see. Okay, they're all related. In the anime, the reason the Nurse Joys are all over the place is because they're all related. It's their family name. Although they all appear identical, Brock is able to tell them apart from the little details. Shout out Brock. This is noted between the differences between the eyelashes of two different Nurse Joys. Jeez, Nurse Joy is actually one of the few girls in the animes that does not reject Brock. uh, she'll just look at him confused before he's pulled away by one of the friends. Um, okay, but can be told apart by the badges. Nurse Joy's Officer Jenny's can be told apart by their badges on their hats.
Hmm.
Our Nurse Joy's sisters. Each island. Okay, so they're not all sisters. Because this one is referencing the Alola region. Uh, it says each island on Alola has its own Nurse Joy, with four of them being sisters, implying that the
Hmm.
rest aren't. Okay, so we really got into this. See, I love how you start like the theory that like everyone goes with, and then like we'll both just take this and run with it and just be like, okay, look, I don't think, it's also good argument material.
Yeah.
Um, okay, well, all right, so we're getting into that, right? So as we're doing that, let's look into. So we established that they're cousins. So my theory goes this. So Gucci brought up that all the men work in the Pokemon worlds. Um, so my thing is that using China's idea of property and social status as an example, you don't buy property from China, you rent it for 99 years. So the thing is that to own a lot of property is a status symbol. So my thought was, well, if all the men work and going that all the Nurse Joys weren't related, that well, they weren't sisters, they were cousins, then that would make more sense that the men of the family, almost like collectively, like somewhere down the lineage,
Hmm.
one of the great grandparents or something, or I don't know how deep the Nurse Joy lore goes to the point where it's like, were they there when it was like, um like before there were buildings or like electricity? Was it like that far? But somewhere down the line, the Pokemon Center was made. My theory is the men then funded it. The Nurse Joys work it, and it's like a status thing. Now, how does that put money back in their pocket? I say donation based. Gucci believes government play in it. I can't dispute that part of it, I guess. Um, but let's try to go into that for a second. I'm gonna.
Yes. So I looked that up. I found a Reddit post from 8 years ago. Um, there's a theory here. Silphco runs everything from the Pokemon Centers to the Pokemon League. While this is a bold claim, I can explain it in a way that will make everything I say seem irrelevant for a bit. Okay. It was originally a family business dedicated to forging deeper bonds between people and Pokemon. Using the founder's favorite Pokemon, Voltorb, as a base, researchers created the first Silph Ball, a crude Pokemon capture method that is both expensive and hard to use. It has a very low capture chance and requires a wind-up mechanism. This is the Pokeball young Oak uses in the movie with Celebi to bring out this Charmander.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
that's that Pokeball that he was using. It wasn't a
Okay,
Pokeball yet because they
that's
weren't
right.
invented yet. However,
Mm,
the owner was unsatisfied with this. The common man couldn't afford even one, and if he could, it wasn't even a 25% chance that would actually work. And so research continued. Eventually, a new model was drawn up, replacing the lock mechanism and compression system of the Silph Ball. It was nicknamed the Pokeball, and the name stuck.
mm,
The ball was cheap and relatively effective. The common man could afford to buy one or two, or as many as he needed to catch his very own Pokemon. The founder was ecstatic, that is, until he died. His only son took over the operation. His son was taught by his father to dream big, but the son had dreamed perhaps too big. Soon, new varieties with better catch rates were made. Knockoff brands were sued to extinction, which is why only self-run Pokemarts and handcrafters sell Pokeballs. Great Balls, Ultra Balls, etc.
mm.
filled the market. Each were exactly the same price to manufacture as a normal Pokeball, but were sold at higher and higher prices. Unique Pokeballs sprung up but were relatively unsuccessful as well as difficult to make. This is
Mm.
why not all Pokemarts sell all the specialty Pokeballs. But the reason why the specialty balls failed interested the son. He found that the common man only needed 1 to 3 Pokemon around the house, and regional Pokemon could be caught with enough normal Pokeballs. This is bad for business. The son needed to do something about it.
Mm.
Meanwhile, a ragtag group of hardcore Pokemon battlers had begun opening places in which to train Pokemon without being scolded for ruining the Pokemon ecosystems. They called them Pokemon gyms, and one city even had both a gym and a fighting dojo. The son found out about this and decided that the more hardcore trainers there were, the more profits to be had. The weak central leadership of the Pokemon Battlers League allowed Silphco to organize their own version of a vast sum of money using the 8 prime locations set up in Kanto as the official gyms. In Sylph's backyard, the fighting dojo began its collapse because they wanted to separate the gyms more. The name was shortened to the Pokemon League, and TV advertisements began airing. These ads can be seen on TV in Sinnoh. The gyms became respected institutions. However, many trainers who challenged the gyms found their Pokemon seriously injured. So Silphco opens Pokemon-specific hospitals called Pokemon Centers. Pokemon wounds can now be treated digitally, sparing the expense of actual treatment. Over 90% of the Pokemon Center's expenses were electricity and communication services. But now trainers, as they become to be called, were burning through every gym at a rapid pace, able to do so with cheap healing and teams full of Pokemon. The next thing to be added was the Elite Four and Champion. These titles mean next to nothing, but trainers flock there anyway. Silphco continues this cycle in every region and continues to rake in the dough through sale of medicine, Pokeballs, and winnings from the gym battle losses. The entire culture of the Pokemon world is centered around Pokemon to the point that preschoolers have Pokemon.
I feel like
So they are to use, but they aren't free to run the Pokemon centers. They're pretty cheap, but not free. The real cost is the damage to the culture, wars being fought with Pokemon, lives being lost due to Pokemon. Pokemon are living WMDs, and even preschoolers have them. Small children running around with a monster that can burn down buildings or shock a person to death. The real cost of a Pokemon Center may be lives.
this dude's
And
trying
that's
to
where it
answer
ends.
everything. Yeah, I was like, dude, you're just reading one post. uh, all right, Pokemon recurring sumo item manufacturer. So as you were going through that, I was kind of looking at like Pokemon economics, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because here's my thing is, so you, in your theory that you found there, it basically goes into one company to rule them all essentially. Monopoly. I guess there was
Right.
no monopoly
Monopoly.
breaks and stuff, in the Pokemon
Yeah.
world. Um, I was looking up like all these different questions. One of the ones asking was like, um, right now I'm looking up what drives the Pokemon economy. One of the things
Right.
before that they go into, I looked up was like who funds these things, and the theory that someone says is that because of the way it works, that you give money, and especially when you lose to gyms being like an extension of like Pokemon centers and everything, like one intertwined system.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Kind of like besides the Pokemart making money for the store, like for the sorry for the town, the store making the money for the town. The gyms, the earnings they get from um from beating people in battle, and also then let's go back to what we were originally saying of let's say they are paying taxes, but only the homeowners, so the adults in this case. That is kind of one of the things that's driving it. But then what here someone says is the Pokemon League pays for food and drinks, the trainers, and for the Pokemon centers, as the way they're able to get away to exploit children and make a fine buck in otherwise capitalistic society. Um, so basically, what they want to kind of go into is that it's almost like they kind of put the breadcrumbs out. And that's kind of what this all, I guess, kind of goes back to is the use of Pokemon to drive the economy. Is like here, the theory this person presented is basically for the society to run, they need people to be Pokemon trainers. So the professors are like, oh hey, it's your when you become a trainer at 12, 10 or 12,
10.
10. So it's like, hey, it's your 10th birthday. Here's a free Pokédeck. It's almost like it's like kind of like the government's way of just like, hey, go stimulate the economy for a minute. um,
Yeah.
but that's what it is. It's a societal thing where it's like, hey, it's your 10th birthday. Because even remember the first episode of Pokemon, remember before Ash goes to Professor Oak's, he's sitting there watching the TV and it's all like, oh my god, Pokemon trainer, this and that, the best of the best. And he's like, I dream of being that one day. And he never
Mm-hmm.
did because he's a loser. And I hate Ash. Ash is Ash is one of the worst, I think, protagonists in an anime. Not the point though. Very likable in the first couple seasons. So the thing is though, is that then what's it? I want to say maybe that's it. It's like almost like that initial front cuz everyone benefits in this case, not just let's go with, the trainers, they're going to go fight the gym cuz you want a gym badge. It's that status. And that's all what this kind of comes from is status too. Um
Yeah.
so my thing is that like all right, you turn 10, you're given a Pokedeck. You go become a Pokemon trainer. Who benefits from this? everyone, because the money you have that you've gained over the years, or like especially like 10th birthday, it's like, oh, you can go explore the world. Hey son, here's crazy ton of Pokebucks or whatever. Like go out into the world, go do some cool stuff. Um,
Hmm.
and it's also it's not even like it's a safe world anyway. um, but then who benefits? The government. You're gonna fight the gym leaders, and they're picking the best of the best. So they're making that money because when you lose in Pokemon, you have to pay who beat you. So
Right.
you're getting whooped big time. So they probably have a pretty steady cash flow. Going off this idea too that um, let's say the Pokemon Center is a family business, essentially a wide expanding family business. So let's say that that is also a thing. Well, in this town, if we're saying this money that is taken in is then distributed through the businesses too, um, they're getting that influx of cash. The Some people say that the Pokemon Center is the thing that the Pokemart is the thing that drives everything. But I just don't
Hmm.
believe that. I don't believe that these couple shops are the only source of income.
Right.
Like, is it possible? Yeah, but I think that's only possible on a small town basis. The thing is, though, we already know off the bat it's not a small town basis because
No.
here's the thing: if there was no, let's say, wide government, which we don't normally come across, but who do we see in the later Pokemon games? Remember Diamond and Pearl?
Yeah.
Who do we run into throughout that? It's the detective guy who looks like the 10th Doctor from Doctor Who.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he comes, doesn't he? I'm more than positive. He comes back later in the games, right? I think he
I
comes back
believe
in one of
so.
let me Google which one it is. I'm more than positive he comes back in a later game. But the thing is though, Officer Jenny's able to go through the region. This guy, detective from Pokemon. If I'm correct, I forget if it's just in the anime. Oh, Looker. Yes. Looker is an international police officer. So he investigated Team Galactic. Oh, So he appears in Black and White, X and Y, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and Sun and Moon, and Ultra Sun and Moon.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. That alone, he's an international police officer. So his his judicial power extends across regions. In
That implies
mm,
that there's some form of UN sort of all
may,
the regions.
maybe not maybe not UN. It may be separate governments, but let's say even though they are separate regions, is it we don't I think know if it's a region of the same place. You know what I mean? Almost like a
Right.
state idea, I suppose, or maybe yeah, I guess no, I'll go with your thing, a UN idea. But the thing is,
Because there was the Great Pokemon War,
mhm.
which implies that the regions aren't all together.
And the thing is too, is that he has then like legislative power. Well, no, sorry, not he has the power to enforce the law across these regions, implying that
Hmm.
there is a higher power of government. So
Right.
from there, um, the idea that like a Pokemart funds the town is not realistic because it could if there was nothing else. So then we could easily say, okay, well, Nurse Jenny only her area of enforcement is only there, but we know through other games, even literally even the first game, using that example of like that break in at that house, all those Nurse
Yeah.
Joys, all the Nurse Joys, God, I'm slipping so much. All the Officer Jennys, um, you're telling me that they had like 7 people to that small town? How bad is the crime rate? Like,
Right.
God, the Detroit of Pokemon. So, it's a real Ohio moment. But just like those things there, I think are signs that there has to be something bigger. Slivco technically being the monopoly and the ruling force, like the Amazon of the Pokemon world, essentially, got their, they kind of are the leading force of everything, is believable. But it's I feel like there's a couple like undefined factors to it though.
Hmm.
Like
Now,
yeah,
I was just gonna say because we were just talking about how there is implications that there's like some form of government,
yeah,
in the Pokemon world. Notice how in every town with a gym, everybody in the town relies on the gym leader. If there's a problem, they go to the gym leader, and the whole region will rely on
Elite
the
Four.
Elite Four and the champion. The champion being the so-called, in the way I see it, the leader of the region. And then whoever beats the champion, obviously they are more powerful.
Mm,
So then they then take on that mantle of being the leader of that region, you know?
yeah.
And then that would, so let's say the leaders of differing regions didn't agree, that could cause the great Pokemon War that Lieutenant Surge talks about that he served in, where the electric Pokemon saved his life.
Now, may I interject with something to debunk that though?
Okay.
Elite Four members, community wise, may hold some say, but they're not in charge though. And I know that I'm gonna share a link right here in the chat because mayors exist. So in terms of
Right.
a smaller government, we know the mayors are at least calling the shots. Now I think it's tough because like this is where it starts getting difficult. Cause so the mayors are the ruling kind of people, right? They're obviously calling the
Hmm.
shots. There's not a mayor in every town though.
No, there's not.
So we can assume in a smaller town, maybe it's like it's a community idea, It's what's it? It's these, a couple families that live there, like Palatown. Palatown had what, three houses?
Yeah.
Like my man, that's not even a town. Um, but I do believe though is that with those smaller communities, I could then see the gym leaders having a say. But
Yeah.
I don't think a gym is going to be in a small town because it never is.
Which is why I feel like the mayors are in charge. Because I know some big cities have both a gym leader and a mayor, right?
Yeah.
But the small towns that don't have a gym leader, they have a mayor. Obviously, the mayor is the only person in charge in that town. But the larger cities, maybe they have the mayor and the gym leader as like two powers because it's a large city. So obviously there needs to be more than just one person in charge, I guess, in their eyes. There needs to be somebody like a backup to the mayor. So the while the gym leaders may not be in charge of that city, they may be a political figure of some sort.
Oh, all right. So lore got deeper. Okay. God, I'm learning so much Pokemon lore. Okay. So it looks like they. Oh my God, looks like they really got into this. Okay. So here's the thing we're talking about mayors. Well, my issue is
Mhm.
okay, so mayors exist. Do the mayors answer to anyone? A mayor you assume is electoral. So you got to figure they're probably running at some point. There's a term to their campaign.
Mhm.
They're elected upon. Cool. Go from there. Okay, well, do the mayors answer to anyone? Like, is there a higher branch of government? So then I started to look
Right.
up now Pokemon government. And apparently, there is a world government of Pokemon called the Order, which, by the way, creepy.
Yes, it is, I believe, Kanto, Hoenn, Johto, Unova, Sinnoh, uh, the Orange Islands. I think there's a couple. It's not every region, which I
Yeah.
found interesting.
So here's the thing. Apparently, it was first established in the 1800s. By the way, didn't know Pokemon was working off a real time frame like that. Um, it was a mysterious organization. Soon became apparent that people had made a very big mistake voting them into power. Okay, so we have established though it is voting is how people are taking
Yes.
power, so that's good. Um, There's a command structure. Wait, is this where is this from? Empoleon? Are these
Napoleon is, you know.
yeah, but the members they're talking about is this like mystery dungeon and stuff? You know what I'm saying? Because it says
Yeah.
known members: Blaziken, Sir Viper, Zangoose. So this actually might not even work. The order might be like a Pokemon mystery dungeon thing. Like you know where like the Pokemon are like the people.
Yeah. Oh, wait a second. Do you see how they refer to the countries that are involved, like the regions? The People's Republic of Kanto and Johto,
I
the
did see
Kingdom of
that.
Hoenn, the Sinnoh Republic, and the Unova Empire.
So it says the Pokemon world has uniformed police, armed forces who go to war, and Pokemon centers exist even in regions there's no league system, implying they're government funded.
Mm.
See, but I don't believe in the government funded aspect. Based
So
on
it
what I've seen,
was Pokemon that founded the order. Which,
how does that
if it
work?
was Pokemon that founded the order, then how does that
See, that's why
how do Pokemon end up being
I'm
the
not believing that.
basically labor slaves of
We
the
I don't think that can even play a factor in this. Cuz you know what my thing
the
is though?
order?
How for I mean it's the tough part. They understand what the Pokemon go on about half the time. So it's like the
Hmm.
Chewbacca issue where it's just like, you know, do the grrr, and you're like, oh, "I know, Chewie, I know." And it's just like, "How do you know?" I feel like it's a Pokemon issue. Is the Chewbacca problem where it's just like, okay, Chewy growls. Everyone knows he's saying. Pikachu's like Pika Pika Pika, and they're like, oh, he's spitting. Um, so my thing is, I'm like, okay, the order has to be taken out of this idea because I am going to refuse to believe that Sir Viper is sitting there as like Sir Viper, and it's just like, oh man, we're really gonna invade that place? Like,
Well,
no.
I don't know. Because remember, God in the Pokemon universe is a Pokemon.
Oh shit, that's right.
It's Arceus. That
Oh,
is the God.
okay, but can I say I believe more that Arceus created the universe more than I could believe that Blaziken could run for office?
Well, that's fair, but what if the order is not elected by people?
I don't.
What if it's not people voting in the Pokemon into this office? What if it's
They were.
Pokemon?
I kind of refuse to believe that though.
I think Pokemon are more what's the word I'm looking for?
Civil?
Um, civil than we give them credit for because they're taken as basically like slaves to labor because they're not paid for the work they do. They're owned
I
by their trainer, and but
I
the
don't go
but
slaves
then
to
they're
labor
more.
though. Cuz you know the thing is though is that you find in the Pokemon world that them treated poorly is rare. Cuz who only treats
Yeah.
Pokemon poorly? Bad people like Team Rocket
Hmm.
or Galacta or Team Galactus or whatever. Um or what's it from uh Pokemon Coliseum Gale Darkness, like the people who literally beat Pokemon and you know like to the point that they turn evil. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, like you find that to be rare. It's only these organizations of evil people that do these things.
But then when but that's what I'm saying. Like maybe not the ones that are working like
Well,
construction and stuff, but there are Pokemon that are taken purely for labor and they're abused.
yeah, but the
So
thing is though, I feel like that's such a small percentage when I think that generally speaking, the Pokemon are treated as companions and equals. I mean, but I think they're treated in the same way you would treat a dog. Because the thing is that, like,
Hmm.
let's say Pokemon centers. Though, well, Pokemon Center do treat people, though. Because I was going to say, I'm like, I see them more as, like, pets. But the thing is, they're not really
Officer
just
Jenny and
pets.
Growlithe, like canines, police canines.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, I'm like, generally, they're viewed as, like, companions. Like, Pokemon are viewed as companions, and they're treated
Right.
that way. So the thing is that, like, Mr. Mime is a active member of that household. Dude,
Hmm.
Ash's dad is. Did they ever establish what's up with Ash's dad? Did they ever actually do that?
There
Or is
are
he
so
dead?
many theories they have never announced
I think he's out
who
there.
his father is.
Anyway, but like Mr. Mime is the real dad of the household. Um, but the thing is though, like Mr. Mime, active member of the household. Pikachu, Ash's best friend.
Hmm.
Um, like I, I feel like no, because I guess to some degree, because you remember like what's Ash's most caught Pokemon? This is just
Most caught?
random trivia. Most caught
Some
Pokemon.
um Pidgey?
No, it's Taurus. He went ham in this.
Really?
Yeah, he went ham in the Safari Zone, and that was established. I think like the second or
Oh,
third
that's right.
season.
There was one episode where he just
Yeah,
kept catching Taurus in the
yeah.
Safari Zone.
And then eventually Professor Oak, when like he called, like I think the Taurus got out, and there's like a whole thing. Um. So the thing is though, is that like I don't, I just find it hard to believe, um, that Pokemon are first off running for office and being elected.
Hmm.
But I can't dispute it to a degree either, because then you have a Pokemon like Alakazam and stuff that like are literally geniuses. Like there are Pokemon, there's so many Pokemon that are just like, because Pokemon are weird because they're sentient, but they also don't have to be organic.
Right.
And even some that are sentient are like robotic like they're so like it's like a spectrum of sentience, you know? Because there's like, oh my God, like Rotom. Like Rotom is obviously an entity itself, an electrical being that can take over
Yeah.
and animate other objects. But then you have like, God, who was rated the smartest Pokemon? What was, because they work. Like
Um,
they work. They're smart. They're sentient. Smartest Pokemon.
Alakazam.
Yeah, that's what I figured. He has an IQ over 5,000. All right, so let's do. Okay. The highest human IQ is 198
So Pokemon can be more sentient than humans, which it
by
makes
a
it more
huge
believable.
degree. Okay, but
Which
that
makes it more believable that the order can be founded by Pokemon.
mm,
And
here's the thing though. Pokemon IQ. So the thing is we know Alakazam is the smartest Pokemon,
mhm,
right? Um Pokemon with the highest IQ. So Alakazam's brain continuously grows, infinitely multiplying brain cells. So we
yeah,
know that one already. Um, but then we can also say things. Oh, Metagross. That's right, because Metagross has the brain of multiple supercomputers.
yeah,
Oh, so it looks like mainly the psychic types are the smartest. Latios and Latias are apparently up there. Reniculus, Victus. Oh, Azatu is also, I remember, very smart. Mr. Mime. Oranguru. Here's the thing, I'm so far out from Pokemon because the last one I played was like Sun that like I'm seeing a lot of these Pokemon. I'm like, yo, I don't know who you are. Yeah, a lot of these are like newer ones. So really, the smartest Pokemon have only been introduced recently, except for
yeah.
Alakazam. Mm, Darkrai. here they have smartest Pokemon from regions. Um, so we Metagross, but Metagross is smart, but I don't. Metagross isn't. I think what's the right word? Functional to a degree. You know,
Yeah.
Alakazam hold like it's tough because like I'm putting this on a human aspect, and they're obviously beyond human in a way. Deoxys has to be extremely intelligent. We assume from another galaxy and life form. Um,
Yeah.
that we already have to rank them as a superior being. Um, if they can cover, in interstellar travel. I mean, so is Mewtwo though.
Right.
Mewtwo would have conquered everything. So I don't know. The thing is that like, all right, I guess putting it this way, I guess changing kind of where I'm at with it now, presented with this new info. A lot of Pokemon from the order, I don't believe are smart. Using
Well,
Survivor.
well, there's different positions in the order.
That's true.
Survivor is a mercenary.
That's true.
Blaziken is a mercenary. The other two are Swampert and Zangoose. The Largents, I'm not sure. I guess they're like masters. Those are Shiftry. Well, there's one Largent so far as we know of. Shiftry.
Mm.
Massivos, I don't know what that means necessarily. Magmortar, Electivire, and
Mm.
Zoroark. And then there's a Senator, one that we know about so far. It's Grumpig. I don't know what the levels of these positions are, but I would assume that mercenary it does not necessarily need to be intelligent.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. They really just have to be, I mean, intelligent to a degree, but like really stealthy and able to
Right,
execute. So yeah, I guess that's a
exactly.
good point. Um, yeah, so I guess that's true. I guess only there's very few positions. But then do I rank some of those as intelligent though? To lead? I like it when from
Well,
like
let's
Pokemon
see.
economics to Pokemon like politics.
I mean, they're very closely entwined.
But my thing is, you think Blaziken taking bribes, but I don't know, cause like, what does Giovanni do for a living? Obviously, he runs Team Rocket, but doesn't he
He's a
have?
gym leader.
What does he do beyond that? Doesn't he also run like a business aspect? Cause doesn't Team? Oh my God, the
No, no.
casinos.
Well, yes, the casino, but
Mm.
his main business is
No,
and
we're
always has
no,
been the
we're
gym. It was a
talking.
front.
We're talking money, brother. We're talking across the board.
Right, but Giovanni always sees the gym as his. It's that the gym is his front for Team Rocket because he's revered as the strongest of all 8 gym leaders of Kanto. The gym is his front for Team Rocket. Nobody suspected him of running Team Rocket because he was such a public figure. The casino didn't get him that. So money wise, it would be the casino. But in terms of his power that
Well,
he's obtained over time, it's the gym.
well, not even just that though. I mean, just going through everything, is that if we're still going off of like the gyms are making the money too, um, to like put back into the town and whatnot,
Right.
and also then you figure because we were looking before, I'm like Slivco can't be the only ones making money. So now that brings up
Yeah.
the good thing, I guess. See, this opens up another channel conversation. Is that the casinos make a lot of money? Not
Mm-hmm.
just the casinos though. If we go into the later games, because now I'm thinking side things you can do. You have to figure. A lot of times you have to travel. Sometimes you have to pay. Obviously, we fly. We use an HM. We can fly. Um, but then I'm thinking the pageants. You have to pay to get into the pageants. So
Yeah.
that's income. And this is what I was trying to
Um,
figure out in the early offset is that you find
there
if
are other
you'll
businesses.
yeah, but you also find that a lot of people use a trade system more than a monetary like idea. So the move skill guy, who makes Pokemon forget like moves, most
Yeah.
of the time, or I think all the time, they mainly just do they mainly just do like a trade system, like in Diamond, God, Diamond and Pearl, I think it was. It was like some shell, I think it was, and that's what you would use. You get something like that, I think it was, and you would trade with them. And that's how you would do it. And I think his lore was he made like art with it or something like that, or like necklaces. So we can also say that like money plays a big part, obviously, in a lot of it, because of course it does. But you also have to figure too is that it's I feel like on a smaller scale, people are also using a bargaining a trade system to be like, hey, like you know what, I really need milk, eggs, and butter or whatever. Um,
Yeah.
Mr. Mime can come over and give you a massage or something. Like like whatever is really at your disposal, I guess, to trade. Mr. Mime just freaks me out, but um no, but just like I don't know. So I guess that's another thing too, because I guess that helps answer the question from before of there are other businesses, so that's good. It's not just
Now,
Slivco, and
one thing,
yeah,
one thing I found really interesting, Giovanni. I don't know how much you know about like red and blue and green.
like the games.
Well, the games, but the characters. Like in
Oof.
Fire Red, you play as Red,
Yeah,
and
yeah. No, I got
in
not too much. I'll be honest with you. Except for
so
red, green and blue, not too much.
so with Red, what happened was when Red went to face Giovanni, that was when because Red knew Giovanni was the head of Team Rocket because of what happened at Silphco, right?
Yeah.
So he comes to the Viridian gym and he notices that Giovanni is the gym leader. And he challenges Giovanni not as a trainer looking for a badge, but as the one who wants to defeat the head of Team Rocket, right?
Mm.
So Giovanni accepts the challenge and he in terms of not in terms of the game, because in the game they use six Pokemon, but in terms of the like the manga, what happens is Giovanni sets aside his six Pokemon and uses just two Pokemon,
Mm.
which are his top two. They're both in Ultra Balls, right? And so he will like he takes the two Pokemon, I believe it was Rhydon
Okay.
and
Yeah.
um it was Rhyhorn and then Rhydon.
Mm.
So they fight, right? And Ash eventually wins. Ash is down to just his Charizard, but he wins. And then Giovanni offers him the Earth badge, and Red doesn't take it because he doesn't want to take the a badge from the leader of Team Rocket.
Yeah.
So Giovanni turns to the members of Team Rocket and says, "As of right now, Team Rocket is now officially disbanded." And then
Mm.
he turns back to Red and says that he is now offering the gym badge as a gym leader and not as the head of Team Rocket. So just to give him that badge, he terminated Team Rocket, right?
It's weak as hell.
And afterwards, that because when after reading this manga, it got me thinking that he respected his position as a gym leader more than his position as the head of Team Rocket, even though
Mm.
his belief in Team Rocket was so strong, but he respected his position as gym leader more than being head of Team Rocket. So he disbanded Team Rocket just to give like to fulfill his duty as the gym leader.
Yeah.
And so that got me thinking, obviously there's something more to being the gym leader than just
Mm.
being the gym leader.
Then
It's
then running
it's
like a big
it's a
criminal syndicate.
right. It's an
Mm.
honor thing, which brings me back to the fact that they are in a way political figures, even if they're not in charge of the town or
Oh,
city
see,
they're in.
but now that's where you lost me, because you can't tell me now that in politics there's morals. That's
No,
where
there's not morals,
there's
but
look, there's not an honor
there's
system either. So, look, I
well,
love your theory, but unfortunately for that reason, I'm out.
Pokemon is the ideal universe. Everything is ideal. Pokemon and
Ah,
humans work together, and things. There's obviously challenges, there are problems, but notice how every problem is overcome.
So
It's an ideal universe. So in an ideal universe, the government would be honorable.
so now going from there, I did take a look too because we've discussed like okay, there are other money making ways. Now my thing is though, let's go back to companies. So
Hmm.
Slivco has been our main one. Here's the thing. If you look up on Bulbapedia, companies, there are 11 and that's it. Across every region, only
Hmm.
11 exist. And it goes as such. Altru Incorporated,
Hmm.
Baker Detective Agency, Devon Corporation, Electric Company, the Greater Mauville Holdings,
Yeah,
Lysandre Labs,
which I assume is the
Macro,
potions.
maybe Macrocosmos, Pokejob, Pokemon News Press, Poketech, and Slivco. So,
Now, Silphco is in charge of anything Poketech. So what does Poketech do? Because anything like Pokemon technology is Silphco,
do we know that for a
but
fact though?
Poketech, yeah, they are the head honcho of the Poke technology industry.
Man said head
Now,
honcho.
Poketech, I remember, was just in Sinnoh.
Oh, so this is a family owned company, yeah, in Sinnoh, known for the development of the Poketch. Is it Poketch? Maybe I'm messing that up.
Yeah, Poketch. That's what it is, not
Poketch.
Poketech. It's
Yeah.
Poketch.
And several.
Oh, that's what it was. It was the watch. It was the watch. It's
Oh
not
my god,
Poketech.
yeah.
It was the Poketch watch. That's
That's
all they made.
right. Okay. Damn, they really just got the bag on that one thing. That's it, huh? Sad.
Yeah,
Okay, that makes sense though. That's
because
Pokemon lore.
Silphco is the technology company. All Poketch had was the watch.
I'm like, yeah, that's lore, all right. um, I feel like we really got somewhere on this. I
I think
think
we did.
I think for almost an hour. Also, then I guess I'm gonna have to clip what we just did before. Um, in the GTA stream, I feel like that was such a long thing. I feel like we really started to unravel. But I also hate to say that I feel like we also aren't even close to an answer.
No, we're not. I think this is might be something we should just like actually study.
Like I feel like there's like real stuff behind it. The thing is though, it's still through all this looking into everything you just said. Maybe 20% of it is
Hmm.
defined in lore.
Yeah,
So 80% is pure speculation.
which is why it's so difficult to find a clear answer because we haven't been given what we need to find a clear answer. We are given like a bare minimum when you look at what we actually have to go off of.
I mean, which is
Because we're not
fair.
even sure the order. We're
Yeah.
not even sure if the order was an actual thing.
Like, which,
But
I mean, I say is fair. I think it's. The world is so expansive, right, of Pokemon that
mhm.
I feel like you can't even get so far into it without being in a rabbit hole. But at the same time, I feel like can you really get far enough into it without ruining your
I don't know.
suspension of disbelief? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, um, I'm looking at this. It says the leader of the order. Now, first of all, it says their alignment is evil, right?
Yes.
But the leader is the Gargantuans. Gargantuan means what is it? Like just enormous,
Yeah.
right? Which leads me to believe that maybe they were just really large Pokemon that were like, because dinosaurs, Pokemon were big, just like dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Pokemon were like larger in early ages. So I'm wondering if maybe because we actually have now a game that takes place really far into the past.
Yes.
Also, we actually have two because there's Arceus Legends, right?
Hmm.
And then there's Pokemon Scarlet, which is one of the ones that just came out, Scarlet and
Yeah.
Violet. So they take place really far into the past, but it's still beyond 1800. So we don't know if 1800 maybe is their like really early ages, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe the order, I think this might actually help the case of whether or not the order is real. If they're the gargantuans, that just implies they're just large Pokemon, which people might look at as like a high being, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So they might be more inclined to listen and obey it, like Arceus. You know, they revere him as a god.
Yeah.
So that's what I just saw that when I was looking at the order, and I thought that might kind of obviously it's all still speculation, but I think it's taking us a step into that direction. It might actually be a thing, you know?
Oh, I think we accomplished something here. I think I think that was a lot.
Yeah.
Well, damn. So I guess I feel like this is a good place to leave it at this point. I think like I think the thing is I think we exasperated all like I think options available right now to answer these questions, but we
Yeah.
went from everywhere to like we've established Nurse Joy's affiliations, societal norms, government branches, legislative and judicial like ideas. So I guess that's something for people to chew on. I'm gonna upload this to YouTube. I'm
Oh yeah.
like right now I
This is
just
I feel like this might actually get pretty good viewership, I'm
like
not gonna lie.
right now I just have like our drug wars thing. I'm gonna make us a custom thing just for this. Um Gucci and Teemah tackle Pokemon economics. Like um so I guess that's a good place to leave it. So of course, as always, I want to thank my boy Gucci underscore Dutch. You can find him on Instagram, instagram.com/Gucci underscore Dutch. And of course, my name is Teemah, the Master Archivist. You can find me on YouTube and Twitch as the Master Archivist. And I do also have a Discord where you can find myself and Gucci Dutch. It's where we currently are right now having this wonderful discussion. So, with that being said, thank you for everyone who tuned in. I hope you enjoyed the conversation here. We will be live in what's it now? Like probably like 20 hours to
Yeah,
do
about 20 hours.
the GTA Online Los Santos Drug Wars. We just finished live on stream the finale to us like financing it. So if you guys want to see us, it's going to be a multi-part stream of us taking it. But I hope you guys have a wonderful night, and hopefully I can see you for the next time. So thank you so much, and may the force be with you.